a lot of people who I've talked to that streamed on Mixer, Sadomi, I think you talked about this with me, and my buddy Fishhook that's in chat did it, and a bunch of us have talked about it, that when they streamed on Mixer, it felt like a streaming platform. Like it was a streamer platform, and that was it. Mm-hmm. Everyone was there to stream and try to cash in on the viewers, and that's it. Where Twitch, you have so many people who would never stream. They've never thought about, man, I want to go live one day. They're like, nope, that's not why I'm here. I'm here to meet people who like things that I like and watch them do it. Mm-hmm. And that's all they come to Twitch for, where it doesn't feel like that exists on Mixer yet.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of StreamKey. Sorry we had to take last week off. Had some things come up and was a little bit busy. But we're here today, now, right here, doing an episode of StreamKey, as you can see right now. But we got two amazing guests, as always. They're on the show all the time, and there's a reason for it. We'll start off with TRUgaming. How you doing today, TRUgaming?
Not bad. Thanks for having me on again. I always love it being here.
Absolutely, man. And then we got Mr. Pure Instinct, the one and only. What's up, my dude?
What's up, guys? Glad to be back. It's been like 2 weeks, man. It's wild.
Yeah, right. And then we got Sadomi, the only co-host worth being on this show. What's up, man?
You didn't say your name.
Huh? What?
No, Bill, you're the best and the greatest and the greatest and the best.
No. Who am I compared to you, though? You know, chat, can I get some hashtag love for Sadomi? Like,
boom.
Spam it, please, all over. Anyway, so we're going to be ending it a little bit early today, probably like 15, 30 minutes early, just a heads up, because life is a little crazy still for some of us. But with that being said, make sure to ask us any questions in the chat that you might have about streaming or Twitch news, anything like that. You can at myself and TRUgaming in the chat, or you can join up in the Discord, go into the waiting room. I'll send you a friend request. You accept that, and then we'll pull you into the voice call, and you can be in here with us, and you'll get priority. So the first topic we have today is XQC gets banned for in-game nudity. I don't remember exactly which game it was specifically, but like seeing this is really interesting because I know like I played through, The Witcher 3, a little bit of The Witcher 2. What other games? I think Red Dead 2 might have some in it as well. And like these are all things that I thought honestly were safe on Twitch. Like I thought that because you see people streaming these games all the time, so you figured there's really no harm in it. But obviously that's not the case. If XQC is going to get banned on Twitch for in-game nudity, it kind of makes you wonder, like, what happens if, like, you have no idea something's about to show up in a story and it happens, like, are you at risk of being banned? Well, obviously you are at risk, but I just want to know what you guys had to say about that. We'll start with TRUgaming.
Well, I mean, you're right in the sense of the... people might get worried that they're going to get banned for nudity they don't expect. XQC expected this nudity. It tells them it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. It says on the screen, I'm going to take off my bra. Okay? Like, he then presses a button to make that action happen. You can't get any more responsible for the nudity on the screen. You just can't get any more responsible,
right.
So this is why he's banned. And I understand why it's a strike against them as well, because it's there, This isn't someone that's taken by surprise. Oh my days, there's and it's and it's also not the kind of game that's widely streamed. If you're playing, you said Red Dead Redemption. How are they going to ban you when Red Dead Redemption has got how many people haven't played it, including huge streamers? Like the game that he was playing is a very niche game. That's basically a form of strip poker, but playing different games. He was playing Connect 4, So I feel he's only got himself to blame here. And as for the impact for the wider people, I don't really feel that this has a huge impact on the wider Twitch viewer base. He knew what he was getting up to here. And in reality, if I was being cynical, I would say he wanted a holiday, but wanted to make sure he was still being talked about while he was on his holiday, right?
Would be the worst move.
If I was being extremely cynical, I would say that, and so, because, come on, she literally says it on the screen, I'm going to take off my bra. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. That's my position on it anyway.
Okay, so you don't think that streamers have anything to worry about when it comes to story-based games that everybody's streaming. That
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I like you just can't. You can't be. I've played Red Dead. I've seen the nudity stuff. I've played other games as well that I've had it pop up. It's when it's in situ and it's in story. I think Twitch also have this feeling about it as being relevant to the game, relevant to the way the story's being told in an artistic way, if you will. Whereas in fact, when you're playing a game that's specifically about trying to get a character nude, there's no two ways about it that you know what's going to happen down the line, and the entire premise is to get the character nude.
Right. Sadomi, what do you got on this one, man?
So essentially, pretty much like Dog said, you can have nudity on your stream as long as it's not the main focus and it's part of like the game you're playing. For instance, if you guys know Zombie Unicorn, she's not as popular like nowadays, but back in the day, her top rated clip right now is just her in the Age of Conan character creation screen, and she just playing with the with the breast slider for like 2 minutes. So you can do it, and like I said, as long as it's not the main focus, you're fine.
Right.
But again, XQC doing things like, and also he's not like the golden child of Twitch either. He's like the dark host. Like, while he's really popular, like you won't hear Twitch really promote him or talk about him too much.
Right.
So I don't necessarily think that he has as much leeway as to like a more, we'll say, established and more brand friendly partner does.
Right.
So he probably is more liable to get banned for something like this. And like what Dog said, for him, this is good because now he can just go on Twitter and complain and moan about it. But Twitch can't respond because their policy is not to like talk about bans publicly. So he just keep talking like, this is unfair. I don't deserve to be banned. This is stupid. Everyone else does it. Da 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 da. And that's good for him. So the old Twitch game all over again.
For sure. MPI.
So I noticed in the article there was a link that digs a little bit deeper into this.
Okay.
Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're exposing the story right
what
here.
If we don't have a hat.
Put one on and hold on to it. So apparently this wasn't the first time he got banned for something similar to this. It happened in July of 2019, where he watched a video titled, quote, "Safe for Work, asterisk, asterisk, asterisk." I'll let you figure out what 3 asterisks would be, which showed adult-themed videos covered up by cartoons that showed the actors performing much more family-friendly tasks. And this is apparently, there are some allegations being thrown around that he used something like a cheat code of some kind that would have normally blurred those breasts when she turned around to take off the bra. So when you kind of like factor in, hey, dude, you kind of already did this and we told you no, and you did it again, you still can't do it. What do you think?
Man, new rules.
Yeah, you big dummy. And did he think because it was, a leap day that day just doesn't count? I don't know. But this wasn't the first time it's happened, but kind of like Sadomi and you guys are all saying, from what I've always understood and kind of how the wording seems to be on the rules is it can't be the focus of the game. And there is a list of banned games on Twitch. Like there's, if you guys remember the BMX XX game from the PS2, it's basically just naked people riding BMX bikes. I have no idea why you want to play that, but it exists if you want to. That's cool. But don't stream it, because that's the whole point of the game. It's like the other one that I can think of is like there was a PS2 game that was literally just the Playboy Mansion. That's the point of that game. Yep. I'm not here to judge you if you want to play games like that or not. That's fine. That's your prerogative.
PS2.
I have 3 of them. I'll play all that game 3 times
on one stream. Just 3 different games with it. Oh my god, that'd be great.
But it comes to, like we said, it can't be the point of the game. It's like, think about it in like movies. There's movies that happen to have nudity or sex scenes in them, but that does not classify it as pornography. It's just, it happens to have that in the film. So, when you're in The Witcher and someone happens to be naked in the story, or any other game where it happens, it fits in with what's happening there, and it's part of a narrative where this and things similar to it, the whole point in that game is to be nude or to be overtly sexual, and that's where the problem comes in.
Yep.
And how that doesn't just, logically click in someone's brain, I don't really know, but it is XQC, so I know a lot of his stuff is kind of like shock value, and he's, trying to kind of follow that like PewDiePie feel, where he's loud all the time and he always has to be the center of attention, even though it's negative all the time. But that's his thing. And if that's what you like, that's what you like. That's fine. But don't be surprised when he streams boobies again and gets kicked off.
Yeah. But I mean, he was told not long ago that he's a brand risk,
Yeah.
And so he knows well before this that they look at him like, you're a
We
partner.
don't really want you here, but I can't tell you to go away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So every time he gives them legitimate reasons, they're going to take them, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because he's just giving them a legitimate reason to say, see you later now. Off you go, join, whatever,
Right.
So we'll see how far he can take his as MPI was saying about the being the sort of edgy pushing the boundary stuff. He's on his last warning now. How committed is he now to that?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we might see, a different XQC altogether.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. And honestly, I didn't know too much. I still don't know too much about XQC, but the way you guys are describing him is he's like the Logan Paul of Twitch. And catching me off guard, I'm not gonna lie. Not that Logan Paul didn't make a Twitch channel a long time ago. You guys all remember that.
Like a lot of his stuff, the only reason I've ever heard of him is from Dextro articles where he has done something stupid.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's the only reason I've ever heard of his stream.
Right. Every time I look for topics for this show, it like anytime I see his name, it's nothing that's like beneficial to anybody. You know what I mean? It's always something like this.
Exactly.
Like, did you know that he's not? I never even seen an Overwatch clip of him. I didn't even know he played Overwatch.
I have, and I think most of them are him like throwing a hissy fit.
Oh, he used to play. That's how he made it. He was a
pro
streamer.
Overwatch player, and they kicked him out of the Overwatch League because he was awful. He was not a good look for the brand, and they said no, get, and they stood behind it. But I mean, it's a little bit different when it's a sport and you have teams versus it's his individual content. It's harder to say no to him.
Right. I mean, at a certain point, though, you got to kind of realize that maybe it's time to change your shit up a little bit. Like maybe it's time to go a little bit more family friendly. Not to get go so far as to just never swearing or anything. But if people are telling you you're a brand risk and you get kicked out of things because of it, that maybe loosen up a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Which actually will go into one of our questions that we'll talk about later from one of our listeners. But for right now, we'll continue with the topics, then we'll get into the questions. Twitch is expected to see growth in 2020. Could see up to 14, maybe 15% growth, which is pretty cool. I mean, obviously they still have to compete with like YouTube and things like that. And I'm not sure exactly how YouTube's been doing with, like Courage coming over and everything. I haven't heard of him directly complaining about lower viewers or anything like that. But seeing Twitch grow in 2020 would be really cool. And I also think that potentially it could lead to another surge of newer streamers coming in, more follow for follow requests, more lurk for lurks, because there was a huge point of time where that was going on. And it felt like every stream I'd get a lurk for lurk or follow for follow request from somebody who just wanted to come into the chat and spam that, leave, and then go into another person's chat and do the same thing. We haven't really seen that for a while. And I feel like that has something to do with, like we said before, becoming an affiliate not being as big of a deal as it used to be, just because there's so many affiliates and it's been a thing for so long. But also, Twitch and all these platforms have been kind of, aside from Facebook gaming, they've been seeing pretty decent growth. But a lot of platforms, losing a little bit of the time watched and everything, I feel like could be a part of that. But seeing the growth in this coming up year, I feel like might bring more of that kind of stuff. So what do you guys think about the potential growth of Twitch?
So I'm going to interject because I just had a really interesting realization. I'm not sure which numbers they use for Twitch viewers, because technically bots may count.
True.
and I never thought about this before, but you guys know how many bots can like follow bots that come in? You don't reuse those bots. A lot of accounts are activated, do it once, get banned, then they're dead, make new accounts. So I'm wondering, and when I find like sources, like for instance, it was FlipWeb and eMarketer. I don't think they're necessarily super endemic to the live streaming space, or especially with like Twitch culture in general. So I'm not sure if that was weighted out or not. Granted, that's still a lot of accounts. Like I'm sure Twitch is still growing, but I think taking that kind of data is still like with a grain of salt, because I don't know. I feel like that's a really big thing to have to account for just in case. Unless they're based off of watch time, but it looks like, I don't know. And I'm not saying any sources. I don't really trust this what's it called, this article too much, or the source, at least just not from a, if I saw more articles by them, then I'd be able to trust them more. But for me, I think that Twitch is growing. It'll grow a little bit, but I don't think it's really going to grow up as much people think it's going to grow up.
Right. I saw a different article about this, and I was thinking that, it's just, possibly hearsay. It could just be like, somebody just trying to come up with something to write an article about. But it wasn't until I saw this one, and I saw like one or two more, I was like, all right, well, maybe we should talk about this a little bit, because, multiple people are talking about it, then it becomes a little bit more of a story than just, one article like from a source that we don't really know too much about. So I totally understand what you're saying for sure. But seeing that there was multiple articles about potential growth coming for Twitch, I just thought it was really interesting, and it would be nice to see that growth come back, because I know that, Amazon's been pushing Twitch really hard, and, Twitch has obviously been struggling a little bit with, the last year and a half, with multiple issues with, wrongly, like people being wrongly banned, losing top tier streamers, and not seeing ad revenue that Amazon was expecting, things like that. So for something positive potentially coming for Twitch, I thought was really cool, and I just like, I just thought it was interesting. So anybody else got anything on this?
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely think we'll see growth in this year. The article goes on to talk about predicting growth to 2023. I don't think you can accurately in any way predict that. Like there are so many. Know how YouTube gaming is doing. Yeah, like there are so many things that could go wrong, though. Like anything could happen. Like Twitch could launch something that goes drastically wrong and gets them a whole lot of bad press. YouTube or Mixer could launch something that pushes them way more into the desirable position for streamers. So I definitely think we'll see growth over this next year, not least of all because, like, I definitely feel the for example, Tim the Tapman doing the NFL. I definitely think that is going to see growth in this year. Last year it was starting out, and it's not something that it wasn't widely known, but they pushed it. As far as I know, they pushed it at the Super Bowl. Am I right? That I don't know if they did. They had some sort of advert with Tim there or something.
Yeah, he was in a commercial for a couple seconds.
Yeah, so like, but that that kind of stuff is going to see a growth in numbers across different demographics on Twitch this year. Absolutely. Which will see a change. It will see new streamers. It will see new viewers. It will see a change in an uptake in that. So I definitely think we will see it, and it's exciting. It's always exciting when this kind of stuff comes in. It benefits all, as Veli's known to say. A rising tide raises all ships. And so yeah, I think I think we definitely will. But the whole prediction to 2023, who knows? That's fantasy land.
Right. I do want to add real quick that saying is actually from Rob Busey, our friend over there at Twitch Prime. But MPI, did you have anything on this one?
I mean, I kind of think you guys kind of already hit it on the head. There's no way to tell what's going to happen in 2023 with stuff like this. I mean,
that's crazy.
You can you can say if it stays on this path, this is what I would expect to see, but there's so many things that can happen. People can leave the site to go somewhere else. People can just say, I don't like streaming anymore. And then people stop watching streams. Something new comes out that's more exciting somewhere. That's better to watch. Hell, Netflix might hop in and be like, yo, let's get some game streamers on here. All in one service. Why not? Anything can happen.
Yep.
So going that far out is wild. I think we're going to see growth on Twitch this year. I think YouTube Gaming and Mixer maybe even will see growth too. But Twitch, I think, definitely will, because it's the most widely known already. It has Amazon behind it, so it basically has unlimited money behind it. And we've already seen, like we just said, Tim the Tatman in a Super Bowl commercial, and we saw Ninja blow up and be in that public eye for a really long time. He did New Year's Eve in Times Square. He played Fortnite at some huge music festival. I think it was maybe Bonnaroo or something. One of those big festivals. So what's to say that they're not going to be doing that with other people? We've got Tim the Tatman with millions of viewers. Why would they not bring him in on stuff like that? Why would they not get Dr. Lupo? So on, so forth. Whoever they want that they think is going to be a good brand fit. And especially now that we've kind of seen with Ninja being on Mixer, he's had less views and he's started to be a little bit less popular with the Twitterverse, based on a lot of his tweets. So that kind of is going to move people to watch these other streamers, which will bump them up, which bumps them into the public eye, which bumps us into the public eye. So I think it's just like everything else. Influencers from these different areas are going to grow and be more and more popular and be on these more mainstream platforms like television, or be sponsored by a car company to go drive their cars around. And then that gets posted on all over the place by that company. And then somebody goes, oh, look, I really do like Nissan cars. Who's that good? Wait, who? Video gamer? Well, he plays games. He streams games. I like video games and Nissan. Why would I not watch this guy? And it's things like that are happening all the time. People don't see it or talk about it a lot, but that happened with Optic Gaming before they kind of broke apart with their new ownership. They were sponsored by Nissan, and they literally everyone that was part of it got a free car and were just told post photos of it, basically. So we see that happen a lot. People just aren't making the connection, I don't think, of that is mainstream, and these guys are getting to that, and that's going to in turn kick the smaller guys into the mainstream.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be interesting to see more of that stuff happening, and then you'll start noticing that people in public, outside of being on Twitch, people in public will be talking about this kind of stuff. I remember a couple years ago I went to New York, and I remember I was just walking around downtown New York City, and I heard this little kid talking to his dad about Ninja. I'm like, this is it was just such a cool thing, because it seemed especially back then, it seemed like such a niche thing, Twitch and Ninja streaming all this stuff. And then for just some 12-year-old kid talking to his dad about Ninja, and Fortnite, it was just a really cool thing. And it's cool to see it get more popular, and I hope to see more streamers get that kind of spotlight, like you were saying. So our next topic is Courage opens up about struggling since moving to YouTube. He didn't say anything specifically, at least in this article. I didn't read anything about it. He didn't say anything about numbers wise, really because of streaming on YouTube specifically. It seemed more that he was worried about his game choices and losing viewers because he's not playing Call of Duty or Fortnite or some of these competitive multiplayer games. And I thought it was interesting just because a lot of people think that when you do start to see a certain level of success, or when you do start to get up past a certain point, even if you're someone who's about to hit partnership, or even all the way up to somebody like Courage over here, that there's struggles at every level. And clearly you can see that here, because in the article it talks about how Courage used to stream almost every day, and now he's streaming an average of every other day. And he says it's because of he just doesn't have the motivation to hit the go live button every day like he used to, because of this fear of his game choice. So I just thought it was interesting, and I wanted to see if you guys had anything to say about that. We'll start off with Sadomi here.
Yeah, so I don't know, game choice, especially because I don't know, I've never been an expert in game choice myself. And kind of just the feelings of struggling to stream. We all felt that when we didn't want to go live at some point, but we felt like we had to. And just I was reading through the article too with Courage's game choices. Yeah, the skills match. I heard a lot of people complain about it. We've heard Ninja complain about it, heard Courage complain about it. We've heard a lot of our friends complain about it. And I kind of understand too if you're playing high intensity for a long time, unless you're a professional player, and even then, it's just very like stressful.
Yeah.
Like when I'm on stream trying to grind for Rocket League back in the day, and some games will go your way, but you just got to play like 10 more games to get to finish the day out. It's like, whew, I'm tired. I know I can perform my best, but geez, let me take a break. Let me just let me just hit a few freestyles. I'm not trying to die over here, Jesus. But yeah, hopefully he can find his stride back, and because I kind of like Courage. I think he is not someone I watch often or really talk about often, but I think he does do a lot of good things, and he's not necessarily a bad name to have like on your brand. So hopefully he
respecting.
Yeah, so hopefully he bounces back, and yeah, that's pretty much all I really got on that one from him.
Oh yeah, MPI, what do you got on this one?
I mean, I think this is something that everyone who streams deals with, especially if you're doing it for either full time or just a lot. Is you can only play the same game for so long before you're not having fun with it. Even if it's your favorite game in the world, there's still other games that you want to play. And I think especially for like Courage or anybody who's been in that esports scene for so long, like that's been their whole life, really, when you think about it. Like growing up, all he's done is play competitive games. And he even says in there that part of the problem is skill-based matchmaking. So he's always matched with everybody else who is at that same extremely advanced skill level. So there's never a point where he can just kind of like lean back and take it easy for a match. He's always got to be, at his best, or he's getting stomped the whole game, which isn't fun, and it's not really fun to watch. So I can see where that alone could just be like, man, this is taking a toll. But also in his tweets, he talks about like he wants to play God of War and Counter-Strike and all kinds of stuff on stream. Well, there's how many games come out every year? There's thousands upon thousands of games that come out, and if all he plays is Fortnite all day or one game all day, it's like, man, dude, what about all these other cool games? I want to play these cool games. So I think having that realization, it's kind of hard whenever he's built his whole brand around competitive games, because like he says, well, I could switch over to God of War, but then half my viewers won't want to come because they're here to watch competitive gameplay. So when that's your career, it's hard to make that jump compared to when it's just a part-time hobby that's something fun. Because sure, you want viewers all the time when you're streaming. That's the whole point in streaming, is to have people watch. But when it's people don't come, I don't eat. It's harder to make those leaps and take those chances.
Right. Exactly.
I think it would be good for him to switch up games though, because you have a whole market you're not reaching by just playing, competitive Fortnite or competitive Call of Duty or whatever game it is that he's playing right now. Because I mean, I'm not going to go watch that, but if he played God of War, I'd go watch that. I like Courage. I think he's hilarious. I think he makes great content, but I just don't really particularly care for the games that he plays that much. So seeing a story-based game or just something different would be more exciting, I think. And you'd have the chance of a ton of people coming in, because people are going to come back and watch. It's not going to be no one's going to show up. He's still going to have thousands of people watching, which will still push him up there to the top of directories where people are still going to come find him.
Right.
So I think it would be good for him to do something different.
Right. And real quick before we get into dog gaming, because I want to talk to him specifically about this, but I like what you said about, if people don't show up, he doesn't eat. That is true to an extent. And there's also, and I see that Darzog mentioned this in the chat, that Ninja isn't in danger of starving to death if he plays a different game for a while. And while that is true, if people stop showing up if less people start showing up, if people stop showing up as much because of the game choice, yeah, they're going to be set for a while because they do have a lot of money. Like Courage obviously got paid a lot of money to switch over to YouTube. He's set for a long time. Same with Ninja. But if less people start showing up, then will people start thinking like, well, this person just isn't as popular as they used to be, and they might start to fall off after that. And while that might not be like the biggest deal to somebody who hasn't seen that level of success, to them that's what they have. Like that's their identity, is this very successful streamer whether it's, playing a specific game style or not, losing viewers and losing that popularity is huge. Like that would be just be crippling to any person's mentality towards streaming or just, their day-to-day things that they're trying to do. So yeah, like they're going to be fine financially, but when there's something as serious as losing popularity, when that's the only thing that really gets you those higher viewer numbers, that's a big deal. So
Also,
dog game.
I think if you see that drop too, then you see other opportunities drop.
Absolutely.
Because like we were just talking about, Ninja would have never been in Times Square if he wasn't popular.
Exactly.
Nobody's calling me to come be in Times Square because I'm not the size of Ninja.
Right.
But if Ninja were to have switched it up and played, let's say, like Persona 5, and a quarter of his viewers showed up for a month straight, and you see that dive, every company who works with influencers and marketing is going to look at that and go, well, we are not sending that guy anything. Like he just tanked for some reason, and that's not going to do anything beneficial for us, which that's not the way to look at it. And I know that, but it's the same thing as like an investor going, I want money now. Okay, well, that's fine. What are you going to do 5 years from now? Shrug. I don't know. I just want to know about right now.
Right.
And that's what all of this is it's, it's right now. It's happening all the time because the internet's never off. So it's the same thing. You see somebody say something stupid on Twitter, and then immediately nobody watches their stream anymore because they, said something they shouldn't have said. So popularity goes down, other opportunities go down, which means more revenue goes down, which, that's not good when this is your job, man. So,
sure. So, Domi, you were going to say something?
Yeah, essentially, I want to say is one small thing. Would you buy a sandwich made from Pepsi?
Do I get a free Pepsi with it?
Personally, no, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens if you go too off-brand. And Kurt's brand is competitive first-person shooters at a high level. So, again, if you would, and like I said, like Susie said in the chat, that would be a terrible sandwich. It could be the best sandwich in the world, but you assume it's bad because it's not what they normally do.
Right.
It's all about perception, how you really like.
It's like when McDonald's made salads for the first time and everybody laughed.
Exactly. Same thing. Same exact thing.
Still haven't had one.
I'm like, dude, it's still a salad. Like,
how do you mess up lettuce, bro?
it's not like it's a deep fried salad. It's still a salad.
I would try. All right. So dog gaming. So you've definitely been put in this kind of situation, but you're definitely forced to get into this. I don't know if you want to talk about your situation with Rainbow Six Siege and then switching over to more story-based games and how it's been for you and how it was for you before you started doing it.
Well, I mean, this is why I do have sympathy for Courage, but ultimately at the same time, this is a situation of his own creating, and I still have sympathy for him, but I think what he's maybe frozen in is the idea of when you get to that size, numbers are so big as you've all touched on here, but he's not looking at it. He's not approaching it from the right point of view, from the right direction. And this was something that I struggled with. I came very close whenever it happened with Siege. I couldn't play Siege anymore. I was a streamer that played it. That was my game. I played it 5 days a week. Off stream, I played it all the time. All my content was around it. My community was built around it. And then because of a bug in the game, I couldn't play the game anymore. And so a lot of my community evaporated because they were there primarily for the game, which is perfectly fine. It's understandable. That's the content that they were looking for. And I couldn't provide it anymore. But I seen it as, and this is where I think Courage has got at this point in the mindset, he's seen it as a fatal blow, right? He's seen it as a huge setback, a huge step back. And whilst it's going to be a step back, right? It doesn't have to be a huge step back if he approaches it in the right mindset, right? Yes, this could have been made easier if he'd been putting in content that wasn't competitive along the way, dealing with the idea that those streams, but he's in a position where he can get ahead of this, like he can get, games that are coming out, story mode games or stuff that he's interested in coming out. He can currently get in contact with those devs, start getting early with them, with the reach that he has, and then really push it as well. He's pushing out his content to a bigger audience that wasn't even paying attention to him before. Like, yes, he's going to take a hit in the short term, but if he approaches it with the right mindset, I mean, the connections he's got, the name that he's got, he will be able to get access to games, partnerships, even with games that that he wants to play, that kind of thing, that aren't based around competitiveness, and be able to reach a new audience in a new way. And he can do that knowing that even the step back that he takes is still going to put him in a position way, way above the average streamer, and it's going to set him back maybe on any trajectory he might have for financial goals or whatever. But ultimately, that he's got the opportunity to make himself far freer in his content. What we've got here is, as he said, 13 years of playing competitive games. It's burnout. It's literal burnout. If you play, esports at that level for so long, it doesn't matter who you are. Sooner or later, you're just going to be burned out. It's the same with things like chess and stuff like that. Like people end up, they can't do it anymore. There's a level of stress and a level of tension that sooner or later you can't deal with, and that's what he's seeing. Unfortunately for him, he's built his entire brand around it. But as I say, if he approaches it with the right mindset, this is just a small step back and a new chapter opening up in his entire content creation for him. He can really, really exploit this if he approaches it in a positive mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And coming from you, like, obviously you understand quite a bit of this. Obviously not to the level of success that he is. No, of course. No, not trying to. Yeah.
No. But, step it up.
Yeah.
But throwing shade.
But for somebody who, did brand themselves around, competitive FPS gaming like you did, and then have it like literally being forced to switch to a different game or a different style of games because of a bug. I don't know if you guys know this, chat, but TRUgaming has the issue with his PC where for some reason Rainbow Six Siege runs at 99% or something like that for his CPU usage. So he literally can't stream it. Like it's impossible for him to stream Rainbow Six Siege. So now that you've been switching over to more story-based games, single player campaign style games, how has your mentality been towards streaming and towards video gaming in general?
Well, the thing is about gaming in general, the amount of gaming I do now has dropped drastically. Because with Siege, with the way that I was playing, even when I wasn't on stream, I was practicing, I was playing, I was watching other people play, I was watching my own footage to see where I could improve. So it was taking up huge chunks of my time. But now, when I'm streaming, my stream is far more community focused now. It's more interaction focused. I'm playing games where I can just pause it and have a complete conversation with someone, and I can make connections in a way where I'm not saying I'll get to you in a minute once this round is over. Which is for viewers. It doesn't foster a community, and your chat tends to be a lot. For example, my average numbers they're climbing again. They're not anywhere near what they used to be, but my chat's busier every single day than it was when I had way more viewers.
Right.
And it's because people know that they can come in and they can get communication and I can talk to them, and so that it's I mean, obviously for Courage that's not going to be a thing, because even with the numbers hits he's going to take, his chat's going to be too much for him to but that doesn't that personally for me though, that's been a huge thing. It allows me to connect with my community more, and I'm having more fun. I'm less stressful on stream, because as Courage was said at one point, now, I wasn't the greatest player at Siege. I was a decent enough player, but there's a certain pressure you feel to perform when you're playing. competitive games. I'm sure Sadomi will talk about that, you know. And it's so much easier to play these games off stream than it is on stream because of that extra pressure. Yep. And it wears you down. It wears you down. It makes you far more likely to be reactionary, toxic. It makes you far more likely to be stuff like that. And that's not good for yourself, and it's certainly not good for your community or your stream, you know. So for me, it's been a blessing in disguise. You know, I see a new path ahead of me that is a far happier one for me. So
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I mean. Courage can turn this into a real positive step and take and re-energize himself in streaming again and find an energy that he thought he'd lost, a passion that was on the wane perhaps, and relaunch himself if he approaches it correctly though.
Yeah. So Sadomi, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I hate comp.
Yep.
That's honestly my biggest.
It's true though.
It's like that's everything I was gonna say, just summed up in 4 words. I hate competitive. Those 3 words, but whatever. Syllables.
Words, syllables. What's the difference? No, I totally agree. As somebody who's also done a lot of like competitive style gaming, like, you know, Siege, Tarkov, PUBG, CS:GO, I've done a bunch of stuff, and then recently playing Red Dead Redemption 2. The content that I get out of Red Dead 2 is, in my opinion, funnier and more entertaining, at least for me to make, than any of the Siege content that I made before. Like, yeah, it's fun. It's fun playing games well. It's fun, you know, destroying people in competitive gaming, but there's so much more chat interaction. There's a lot more. It just feels more like story games are meant for streamers than, you know, like Siege or any of those games are. Yeah, you can still talk to chat, and you could be good at streaming those kind of games for like Siege and everything. But there's something to be said about being able to stream a game with a story, being able to talk to your chat, and also figuring out a way to talk the entire time when there's nothing going on in a story-based game. Mm-hmm. It's just a really cool feeling, and the content that I get out of that, I feel like is more entertaining most of the time than the FPS gaming content that I like to make as well. Not to say that I'm not going to stream Tarkov or anything like that anymore, because I do thoroughly enjoy those games, and I think that it's nice. It'll be a good balance for me to keep both styles. But I totally understand what you guys are saying, and it's definitely a blessing in disguise for you that you can't play Siege right now.
Yeah,
you've been able to branch out a little bit, and I feel like more people should try to do this. Like, just because you see Ninja blowing up because of Fortnite, or Tim the Tatman blowing up when he did. I mean, he's blown up plenty of times because of specific games or because of his content alone. But try something different. You know, branch out as a streamer a little bit, because you don't know exactly where it's going to lead you. Going outside of your comfort zone is one of the best things you can do as a Twitch streamer, just for all around growth. Yeah, Lumberjack, exactly. So, but yeah, I just want to talk about that. It's interesting seeing, you know, top level streamers dealing with the same issues that people like us are dealing with. Mm-hmm. So that's all we got. I think if anybody else has anything about Courage's situation or anything that we just, okay, cool. All right. So next topic we have is Mixer might have a morale problem. And so I'll post this video in the chat. And so Mixer has some new management right now. And I didn't watch much of this, but I you know, like, there was a couple quotes in this article that I found this morning, and this management seems to not be the most motivational group of people by any means. It's kind of like, you could either come to work and, you know, try to improve Mixer every day, or you could sit there and sulk, and I have no sympathy for you, is essentially what it sounded like. And we'll start with Sadomi on this one again, because I know you have streamed on Mixer. I know it's been a while since you've really been over there, but if you wanted to talk
about a year.
Yeah, exactly.
I talked to, honestly, so on the flip side of that, I've spoken to some Mixer streamers, mm-hmm. and a lot of them are not happy with Mixer.
Yep.
And I can kind of see a lot of reasons why, especially because there's one Mixer partner I talked to. I'll leave him nameless, because if you really want to find out, it's not hard to find. But essentially, his partner contract got rescinded after he asked for clarification on a rule for broadcasting to separate websites, which Mixer generally didn't have a problem with before, and a lot of partner contracts, they didn't really state anything about it. So it was left vague. So we asked for clarification. After about a week of back and forth emails, he gets his partnership redacted, and he goes on a long Twitter fest. I DM him, get the screenshots, and yeah, it looks very, very typical corporate America like. Yeah, so you can probably imagine what that looks like. So, essentially, yeah, Mixer does have a morale problem, and I think that's really their biggest issue right now, because people don't feel good about your platform. People don't have a good, because right now Mixer's strategy, it was to get people talking about them, get people to keep them in their minds, and to do that, you also have a good mental image of them as well. So if you don't have a good mental image, you'll just turn into a very controversial public figure that I can't think of one at the moment, but you turn into one that's not necessarily good in people's minds. Like the first image of Mixer in someone's minds isn't a good Mixer. It's like, oh God, you don't want that. So that is their biggest like gun in the foot right there.
So you think that Mixer is becoming the Zune?
No, because I actually liked my Zune.
I did too. Thank you.
Weren't bad.
Loved my Zune, dude.
There
I
was
still have mine.
That's actually impressive. But if you didn't have a Zune, you were probably one of the haters of the Zune. You know what I mean? And eventually you started realizing that there was getting to be less and less support financially from Microsoft on the Zune. You know what I mean? Like you could tell that it wasn't going the same place that the iPod was at the time when the iPod was a thing. And I'm definitely getting that vibe right now, you know, and like this is something that people were joking about when Mixer first became a thing, you know, that Microsoft likes to start things and then they eventually fail. So I don't know, Sadomi, do you have anything more on this? Like, because right now you're my Mixer expert.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
No
but
pressure.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Nah, honestly, I don't. Like I said, if I always said Mixer just has to pull the trigger, like pull the trigger, and the trigger isn't getting big streamers. The trigger is getting people to convert en masse. Which, like I said, if the longer they wait, the more chance they have to build up a bigger repertoire of people who want to try Mixer out. But also, they have the risk of any bad press will just not look good on them. It will not be positive for them. So essentially, yeah, they just want to make sure they keep everyone as happy as possible. Use thank you economy principles. If anyone's read that book, it's perfect. And that starts with your employees first. If your employees don't like it, your customers aren't going to like it. Anyone who's worked any kind of job where you serve anyone else, if your employee hates it there, they're not going to give even a modicum of poop to to do anything about it. They're not even going to wash their hands after leaving the bathroom. That's how bad it can get.
Right.
So,
yeah. And it starts with management. If management isn't doing as good as management needs to do, then it all trickles down. It's like a snowball effect. And then if it falls all the way down to the people who are, you know, streaming on the platform, then it's just like, I feel like they need to get new management already, and this new management is already new. You know what I mean?
So, some of the phrases were ridiculous that were mentioned. I have empathy for people, but I'm not here to sympathize. So I understand you have problems, but I don't care. That's literally what that says, right? Being empathy means you understand. Sympathetic means you care. So I understand you have problems. I don't care you've got problems. Like, what a way to talk to your staff. Like, that's ridiculous. And, you know, that's how you're treating your staff while you're flinging around tens of millions to attract people to make your brand better.
Right. Like, that's like the first thing you say once you get your foot in the door. You know what I mean? Like, it's new management and it's already this. It's not like she's fed up with what's been happening. It's like,
exactly.
Here I am. Suck it up. Like,
here I am, and things are going to get worse for you. You know, like every single study that has ever been shown shows that if people are happy in their workplace, productivity goes up. Look, that guy. Look, he was in the press again the other day. The guy that the CEO of the company that put everybody on $70,000, every employee on $70,000 a year. The company has grown in size. they've been able to buy houses and provide for their families in ways that they couldn't have done. The company's got bigger. It's not went under, you know what I mean? And the productivity went through the roof, you know? So, but Microsoft decided, no, let's bring in like a whip cracker. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know, you will put Mixer first. Wow. That's, I don't know, like, perhaps they didn't know what they were getting into. Perhaps this is someone hiring a friend, and it's going to come down the chain later on that, this isn't. But as it currently stands, it's not a good look in any way for Mixer. Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right. MPI?
Yeah. If you're a manager and you act like this in any way, quit your job.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the wrong job because you're bad at it.
Mm-hmm.
Telling people you will come to work and you will like it and you will be positive. Just be positive. Oh, okay, cool. Let me put it to you this way. You have the flu. Stop having the flu. Oh, man. And think about that. Doctors hate her, like, come on, man. It's not that hard to see if you go in, like, basically flipping off your employees if they're not happy. Like, they're not going to want to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. All the times where, like, you look at sitcoms and television shows, and even a lot of our parents who would come home from work and just go, oh, God, I hate that place. God, I hate my boss. I'm so miserable. And then you ask them what they did that day, and they're like, I did one task, and that was it.
Sometimes.
And, yeah, if that, sometimes you just mess around and don't do anything because you just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But then you talk to somebody who has a great boss, and they're, they have a completely different outlook on it. They're like, yeah, dude, went to work today. Didn't really want to go to work because it's work. But, I went in, I had a pretty good day, got some great stuff done. Boss gave me a high five. We went home and it was awesome. It's not that hard to see. If you want productivity, treat people with respect, like they're another human being. And if there's a problem, figure out what the problem is and how to fix it.
Right.
Not say, I don't know, dude, just be positive about it. Okay, thanks. Didn't think about that one. Glad you're here. And like reading this thing of like where she says there's 1,000 reasons why they could and one they couldn't, and 1,000 reasons they couldn't and one they could. Like,
that doesn't even make sense.
What are you talking about? You just throwing numbers around. Like,
as the manager, she should be the one that's, that's trying to motivate people in a much better way. Like, I remember I was working at IHOP and I told my boss that I hated coming into work most days or every day. And her response wasn't like, well, what can we do to fix that? It wasn't, well, we should do something to make your day a little bit better. Like, what can we do to make your job easier? Her response was, well, how do you think that makes me feel? And I remember thinking, I don't think you understand what I'm saying right now.
I think I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. That's a real, like, I'm not making that up. That's a real thing that happened. And I was just like, I'm quitting this place. Like, I remember thinking that in my head. I was like, I'm not going to be here much longer. I can feel it. Yeah. You know what I mean? When a manager has the wrong attitude towards being a manager and caring about the employees' well-being and happiness at work, it doesn't go to good places ever.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah,
no, I wasn't laughing at you there, Bailey. Sorry, I was just laughing at the absurdity of someone thinking that was
right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, why does it even bother you? Like, you work here as well. You don't own IHOP. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
even if they did, if you're the CEO of IHOP and like, your third shift manager from middle of nowhere, wherever he is, walks into your office as the CEO and goes, I hate my job. Your first thought should not be, that makes me kind of sad. How do you think that made me feel, man? I'm the CEO. That hurt. No.
Right.
You'd be like, oh, well, what if somebody else feels that way?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, does everyone hate their job? Everyone hates my company. Maybe we should figure out why they hate coming here. Like,
right.
I had this experience too, similar to that, where like I worked in cell phone sales for a long time. And I worked for Best Buy Mobile, where I got paid like a little bit above minimum wage. Like I was not rolling in the dough or anything, but I wasn't like hurting either, you know? And I went to work every day and I loved my job. We had fun. My boss was a super cool dude who would like make sure that if we had a problem, he knew what it was and how to fix it, or would figure out why something wasn't working and help us fix what wasn't working. And then I went to AT&T to do the exact same job and had these kind of managers of, oh, well, you don't like, you're having a bad day, get over it. Go sell internet, TV, and phones to people that you even sell internet that you don't believe into people. It was 6 megabits per second, dude. That was the top that we got. And I was like, I'm not selling that to people. Like, I'm not lying to these people and telling them that they're going to get by on that. And like, that's how management was every day for me. It was basically just like, I don't care that you had a bad day. Mm-hmm. I don't care that this person is a jerk to you, like while they're in here. And like they literally came in because their bill was $5,000 too expensive. I don't care that they're upset about that. Sell them something else. So I went from doing the exact same job for like a quarter of the money that I made at this new job. And I hated this new job so much. I was so depressed all the time. And just like, I was like, I don't see a point in like waking up tomorrow to go to this job because that's the world that I lived in. And like, there were so many times where I almost like, it took everything in me not to just like throw an iPad at my manager and just be like, shut up. You're dumb. You're a bad manager and you're just not a nice person. It's not that hard.
Just manage better.
Just listen to people.
Right.
Just say, yeah. I'm sorry you're having a bad day. Go take 10 minutes off the floor if you need it. You know, take an extra 10 minutes on your lunch break. Get a drink of water. Or do you need to talk about anything? We have 50 people that work here. We can go sit in the office for 10 minutes and say, hey, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. What's going on, man? Is there something with your family? Can we talk about this? I'm a person. You're a person. That's what we do.
Right.
If you run a business any other way, you're stupid. Stop it.
Don't be stupid.
Make people feel good. They will want to help you grow, which helps your business grow. It's not that hard.
Stop treating people like commodities or objects. You know, the workers are human beings. They're not just a set amount of hours for you. You know, that's people are being reduced to the hours that they can contribute and expected to be able to just do that without any other human, you know, influence from them. You know, so start treating people like human beings again.
Right. There's a great book by Gary Vaynerchuk called The Thank You Economy. And it's a very good insight into treating employees like you would treat your customers. Actually treat them better than you would treat your customers. Because then that trickles down into your customers. And quite frankly, the more you truly care about your entire ecosystem, the better it will run. Because if all your employees are happy, positive, they run much more efficiently. And they'll want to stay, which if you look at it from a numbers perspective, less time retraining, less time people calling off for sick days, you know, those sick days where you just don't want to go in. We've all done those. They work harder for less time. And you're the best. They're advocates for your own brand. Think about it. How often have you heard an employee legitimately love their job and then you go see that place like, oh yeah, that place is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually,
or
can't
like
really
if you
think...
work where you have customers like that, like sales or food or something, or a coffee shop, and they legitimately like their job and like the environment, people are going to ask them like, hey, what do you do? They're going to say, oh, you know, I'm a barista at, you know, local coffee shop X. And man, it's great. I love it. My boss is cool. The coffee's really good. It's a great environment. Come check it out, man. You should really see it. But then think about the other way. People hate their job and they're gonna be like, what do you do? And they're like, I work for this place and I hate it. I don't want to go there.
Or even better, they don't even
and
mention
it's not just
or they're
that,
just like, they would literally just be like, I'm a barista and that's it. Like they immediately are like, this company does not exist if I'm not inside those walls.
But people are more likely to pass on bad experiences than they are to pass on positive. That's another sales thing. You know, if you give bad customer service to someone, they're more likely to tell 5 to 10 people about that. If you give them good customer service, 1 to 2 people will be told about it. So, you know, It's all about your brand. Treating you treat your workers well, as Sadomi said, it trickles down to the customers. Your customers go away with word of mouth better, So it's actually good business practice, monetary wise.
And like, I know Dog Gaming won't understand this experience, but I'm sure there's restaurants over there like this. But political things aside, Chick-fil-A has some of the happiest employees for any fast food restaurant that I've ever been to ever. Political views aside, we're not getting any of that. Like, you can expect consistent food. It's the same quality everywhere you go. And you can always expect, the managers, the employees, and everybody working there to just be super happy to take your order, get you the food as fast as they can. And they just want you to have a good time while you're there, because they are legitimately having a good time. And it shows.
Here's the thing that you said about that like really sticks out to me whenever I go to a Chick-fil-A. The manager is working.
Yeah.
The manager is at that counter taking orders. They are giving out orders. They are making orders. They are running through the drive-through if they need to. They're doing everything all over the place. They're not sitting in the office in the back waiting for somebody to come to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Because someone came in and said, I had pickles on my burger. I wasn't supposed to. Hissy fit. I need to talk to the manager. It's, the manager probably handed you your food and went, oh, wait a minute. That's not right. Let me fix this. When you're a manager and you see that it is so busy that like your employees are swamped and they're all kind of like floundering, but still the happiest people in the world, and you jump in to help them, that speaks volumes about like you as a manager and the company that trains people to do that. Because that's what managers should do. They should know how to do your job. And if you can't do your job that day, or you're needing help with your job that day, they help you do it. And that alone is such a cool thing to see if I'm ever in a Chick-fil-A, is the manager and like the clear manager shirt being like, yeah, here's your order. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. I just thought you would stand there and do nothing like every manager I've had.
Right, exactly. So basically what we're trying to say is Mixer needs to start taking some pages out of like maybe Chick-fil-A's book or something, because honestly, if I were somebody who was about to start streaming and I didn't know what platform I was going to start streaming on, I wouldn't pick Mixer. And if I was somebody who was streaming on Mixer already, seeing all these things that are happening, like, it might not be a great idea to totally abandon Mixer, but it might be a good idea to start branching out into other platforms. Not saying Twitch, it's whatever platform you think is best, but Microsoft has a history of once things start to go downhill, they really start to go downhill. And I wouldn't want to be stuck with all my eggs in Mixer's basket right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably time to start branching out a little bit, expanding and, spreading out your eggs as much as you can, because I don't know what the future of Mixer is looking like. I know they spent a lot of money on trying to grow their platform and it hasn't worked out the best. And obviously with morale being the way that it is at Mixer, and even if it's not across the board right now, with management like how it has, it's getting sketchy and it seems to be a little unstable. And I'd be considering other platforms if I was a streamer on Mixer. That's my opinion. You don't have to like it or listen to it. That's totally fine. I don't care. But I'm just trying to help out as many people as I can with this. Maybe look into other things. I don't know if anybody disagrees here at all.
I mean,
doesn't seem like
I like to root for the underdog, but
yeah, exactly.
I also like to look at things, logically, and this is not a good look, man. Like, Mixer's already been going down in viewership. It's not been growing the way that they want it to, even with spending millions of dollars to get Ninja and whoever else went over there to the platform. I don't know what it is that they're doing wrong, other than hiring whoever this manager is. But they're just not doing something right, or there's just not like enough going on there,
We've spoken about this before, and I think monetization for streamers is a big issue for Mixer. And like, how quickly can you get affiliate on Twitch? And from that point on, you're able to start earning bits, subs, but that's not happening on Mixer. Yeah, I think there's some sort of currency. I don't know what is. I think what I call Embers. Is that what it's called? Something like that.
Yeah, Embers.
Where you can do the same thing, but it's just the opportunities for earning cash are just not as It's not as easy. And the moment that appears, I honestly feel that we'll see a lot more people try out Mixer and a far higher rate of people staying on Mixer than we currently see, because we keep getting batches of people going, but I'm going to try and Mixer. It happens. It's like a cycle. I see it happening on social media. A whole lot of people are trying to Mixer out. 2 or 3 months later, they're back on Twitch, and a few months after that, there's a whole other people going and trying Mixer. And until I honestly believe until they get real monetization, and for example, something similar to Twitch subs, I don't think they're going to make anything. I really don't. I don't see how they can hope to build the groundswell. That's what they need to do. They need small communities that build and build and build. That's, they're trying to go straight and cheat their way to the top, but they have nothing to build on top of. There's no foundation of smaller communities out there. You know what I mean? That's, we see the numbers when Ninja's streaming and then Shroud starts streaming, X amount of the viewers switch from one stream to the other, and you need people like Ninja and Shroud need smaller streamers to be bringing in viewers as well. That's part of the way the ecosystem of Twitch works, So it's, to me, that until monetization comes in, Mixer they're playing around. They're playing around at being a competitor.
And I feel like part of it is a lot of people who I've talked to that streamed on Mixer. Sadomi, I think you talked about this with me, and my buddy Fishhook that's in chat did it, and a bunch of us have talked about it, that when they streamed on Mixer, it felt like a streaming platform. Like it was a streamer platform, and that was it. Everyone was there to stream and try to cash in on the viewers, and that's it. Where Twitch, you have so many people who would never stream. They've never thought about, man, I want to go live one day. They're like, nope. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to meet people who like things that I like and watch them do it. And that's all they come to Twitch for, where it doesn't feel like that exists on Mixer yet. And I don't know why or how they can do it, but I agree with you, dog. The way they're doing it is not it. Getting two big dogs and saying, all right, well, they'll bring everybody over. Sure, they bring people over to watch them. And then when people are done watching them, they either leave the site entirely and go do something else for the day, or they go, all right, well, Ninja's done streaming. I guess I'll go watch the other big Fortnite guy that's on Twitch still. And they just bounce back and forth between these big streamers, and there's no one there to watch the smaller streamers except for maybe their friends who also happen to stream, which is good. Please support your friends who stream if you're a streamer, vice versa, help each other out. But that's not necessarily going to help you grow or build a community. If there's no people there to make a community, it can't exist. And I don't know what they could do to get people over there for that. It seems like they need to incentivize viewers and streamers, where Twitch doesn't have to do that. They already exist. They already have all this. YouTube doesn't have to do that. They already have people watching YouTube. They just have to somehow shift them into the live space a little bit more. But Mixer is completely from the ground up. They're the new folks, and it's how do you get people to watch and stream there, not just stream, which I don't know how to do that, other than maybe if they come over and be like, hey, you can have X amount of money to give your favorite streamer for free, the first month that you make your account. I don't know. There's got to be something make me want to watch their content. Other than my buddy who streams on Twitch is going to Mixer. All right, well, 55 people I watch are still on Twitch. One person is now on Mixer. Cool, I'll watch their stream, but then I'm going back to Twitch.
Yeah, there's no reason to Mixer. I couldn't tell you what their focus or their niche is. I couldn't tell you what part of the market they're trying to capture besides the generic live stream market. I don't see anything that Mixer is. Now, what Mixer is doing is they're creating a brand friendly space, because Twitch isn't as brand friendly as Mixer is, just because they're a lot more strict with all their rules, and the rules themselves will create more, brand friendliness, which means higher ad deals for them. But the problem is there's no, Mixer's biggest talking point is that they are a competitor to Twitch, but I'm not sure what they bring to the table besides that, which isn't really even anything to stand on. And I say the same thing to streamers too. If your content depends strictly on viewers, and you can't make any for yourself, you don't have content. If your streaming platform doesn't cater to viewers, doesn't fill a niche, doesn't fill a need, then you don't have a streaming platform. You just have another website.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, interesting things. We'll have to see where Mixer goes from here. I don't see it doing very well in the near future. Hopefully they're able to switch some things around and get it, trending back up. But we got a few questions. So one we got from the Changer or the Chain Junior on Twitter. They say, how do you guys feel about stream reruns, more so for smaller channels looking to grow their community as well? Looking forward to hearing what Crazy Eyes is eating this week. LOL. Well, okay, so what do you guys think about smaller channels like maybe ourselves or smaller doing reruns of streams?
I'll start.
We have the same answers for the most part.
Essentially, I would just ask, why are you doing it? Why are you doing reruns? Like I said, first thing to ask is why. Like, why would you do a rerun? And then ask, okay, why would you do that? Why would you do reruns? People can see my content. Okay, well, they will watch it on Twitch. Why would they not watch it somewhere else? Why would they watch a stream that is generally meant to be interactive, but it's not interactive? What value do they get from watching a stream that's not interactive unless you are creating something that is extremely entertaining in that point in time? And at which point, why are you not exporting that to a platform that is more suited towards? And at that point, why are you not advertising that platform more to suit that need instead of trying to fit that need onto Twitch where that need cannot be fulfilled in the same way?
Yep. Okay, you've had, and also I add to that as well. So you're also losing out on something that offline auto hosting gives you, and that's the chances of someone from your community going to your channel, seeing someone else hosting, going into that community, and becoming part of that community and being a positive influence and reminder. Oh, they came from there, a connection. This is that's the whole thing about smaller streamers. You need to make connections. Connections come not just with viewers but other streamers, and it's not just by playing with other streamers. If one of your fans, and we all have at least like one or two of them who really loves their stuff, and they're always talking about is see someone else goes into that channel and is talking us up and talking them up. The chances are they've just made a connection for you. So I would say exactly. I mean, Sadomi hit everything else on the head. You hit absolutely everything else on the head. But you're handicapping yourself. I don't see the point.
Yeah. Anybody else got any differing opinions? Yeah. The only thing I want to add is that with something that like Dog was saying is so interactive, not having that interaction is huge. So I feel like your best bet, if anything, is to edit down your live stream and put it into a format on YouTube that wouldn't require them to see you reacting to chat or talking to chat. Any of those like less entertaining moments, because when you're watching something that's not live, it has to be a lot more perfected. It has to be a lot more refined, because when it's live, it like most anything can happen and people are going to be okay with it because they understand that not every second is going to be super entertaining. You're not going to because obviously it's already happened. So there's no surprise to it or anything like that. So edit it down into a much more refined video, make it shorter. No one's going to want to watch a 4 or 5 hour VOD of just live content that's not live anymore. So put it in a YouTube video format and explain to your viewers that they can go check out these videos on YouTube at this specific link, and I think they'll do you a lot better than doing a rerun, because reruns get very confusing. If the viewer doesn't understand that it's a rerun, they'll think that you're just ignoring them in the chat specifically. It's just there's a lot of things there that I think reruns honestly shouldn't even be a thing on Twitch. But yeah,
I was kind of going to say that too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so Chain, hopefully we're able to answer your question for you. Hopefully that helps your decision with it. So we have another question from JT. This was from YouTube. They're saying, just wondering about streaming for the first time as a person who might say the wrong thing sometimes. I'm nervous about the lack of filter I have, and talking out loud live worries me. Thoughts? ? So
pretend you're talking to your mother or your father, or pretend you're talking to your grandmother, or pretend you're talking to
or your
a child. Pretend you're talking to a 10-year-old because you're probably watching a 10-year-old.
Right.
Yeah.
Let her
Anybody
just
else?
I think
Take
that's I think that's about the only advice you
Mhm.
can give is
Yeah.
you have to put yourself into a mindset of appropriateness. You know,
Yep.
like you don't go to the funeral and a funeral and shout. You know, to keep yourself on. You know, so it's just about putting yourself in a mental space where you wouldn't normally accept that. You wouldn't do that in that mental space. You know,
Mhm.
yeah.
Think about
Yeah.
it like being at work.
Yep.
You know, there are
Mhm.
topics that you can talk about at work and things that you can't, and that those areas move all over the place depending on what your beliefs are or whatever. But there are a lot of things that are widely known that are not okay and that are okay. Just think about it exactly like that. Like Dog
Yep.
said, put yourself in the mental space that when you're streaming, even if you're doing it for fun, you still should be putting an effort into it. So think of it like you're working. Not going to say, this phrase or this word, anything like that, because I know that it is not an okay thing to people.
Yep.
And that can, even you say you don't have a filter, but you probably still have one when you go to work, especially if you're in like a customer facing job or somewhere where, you work closely with a team of people. You have that filter, whether you think you do or not. Just put yourself in the exact same mindset of, I'm at my streaming setup. I'm at work right now.
Now, one thing
Exactly.
too I'll say is also takes practice. Don't be afraid to practice. Like when you're streaming, just practice, and you'll slip up. It's okay. If you're just starting out, you have time to delete your clips. Not going to hit Twitter fast enough. So just be mindful and practice. If you slip up, no big deal. Just keep it moving. Don't be like, oh God, I'm so sorry. Unless it was like something really horrible. Like, when you say something that's even Twitch horrible,
Right.
that like, I want to kill everybody who's darker than me kind of comment. Yeah. So
Yeah.
one thing that I did was I realized that you're just going to slip up sometimes. If you talk a certain way IRL, you're going to eventually talk that way on stream. And, me coming from a military background where offensive humor was just a standard, it's like you're always just trying to, just piss somebody off in your unit because there's just no happiness. So everybody thrives on negativity and, just like mean jokes to certain people. You know what I mean? And so I realized that kind of sense of humor doesn't work outside of the military, not just on Twitch, but, in the real world, quote unquote. It just doesn't work because not everybody has the same sense of humor as somebody who's in the military who really just straight up doesn't get offended. You know what I mean? Like there's like nobody gets their feelings hurt in the army if you say that they're, if you just make fun of them. Like nobody cares. Like it's very common. And so I knew that wasn't a thing on Twitch. I knew that wasn't a thing in the real world. And so I started changing kind of who I was as a person, because it took a lot. And I was under this constant dilemma of I don't want to filter myself, but I also don't want to make people mad. I don't want to offend people because I want my stream to be a place where people can come and hang out and not worry about hearing certain triggering words or, being offended by any means. Because I'm not trying to offend anybody. And I was never trying to really when I was in the army. It was that's just the way that it was. And so I realized that like in order to make sure I don't slip up, I have to just change myself as a person, make myself a better person. I can't say these things anymore. And so you just stop joking about certain things. You just have to come to terms that people are sensitive and that's totally okay. There's nothing wrong with people getting upset with a certain word. In this day and age, like that's just a thing. So you just have to work on like not joking about certain things anymore, off stream, on stream, any of it, and I think that'll do really good things for you. It's definitely made me a happier person, understanding that I can make people happy and I'm not going to offend anybody. It's just, it's become a much better environment for me, and obviously a better environment for other people because they're not going to hear anything that will trigger them by any means. So I think changing how you act off stream will affect how you act on stream. And I think it's highly beneficial and something that a lot more people should be doing.
Yep. I agree.
So we got a couple callers. We'll pull down. I'm not sure who got there first, but we got Crazy Eyes. I'll put him on deck right now. And we got Lumberjack on streams after that. So we'll see what Crazy Eyes is eating today. Let me add him in. Brace yourselves. Crazy Eyes with the sushi. What's up, man?
Hello, it's
You gotta
home.
hear it though.
He's too fancy for us with his sushi.
Did you bring me a piece?
Yeah, wait till
yeah,
you go
mail
to the
it
gas station.
It's fine.
Oh yeah, definitely mail it.
Wait till the summer though. I heard if
Thank
it
you.
sits in the hot sun, sushi gets better.
Yeah,
One day
true.
express.
It's the opposite of my skin. If it's in the hot sun, it does not get better. So look, I got
sushi, the opposite of skin.
I got a couple things. First of all, is why do all of you have beards?
It
is
just
this-
kind of shows up.
That's we're
Do
better
I
than you.
need one? Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine having to hide your chin. I don't know.
I kept mine
So-
because I gained
You
a
should
bunch
look
of
at
weight.
it, Crazy Eyes, seriously.
What's a
Second-
chin?
Second thing, I have an actual thing I did. Oh no, it didn't copy. Hold on. I made an actual thing. I did a real thing. Add.jpg to that. Here you go. It's in the chat. Click on that. All right, listen, I follow like 80 people. That's probably not enough people. It's probably my fault. I don't follow enough people. However, I'd like to know when people are hosting and who they're hosting. And so why not on the left, you got your live people, you show more. And then you got why not, instead of just friends and who they're watching, like let's see a hosting section. And there's my little mock-up. I did because I don't have taste. So I rely on other people to tell me what's good and what's not good. So that's kind of my question, I guess. It's not really a question, it's my suggestion.
I mean, it is a
guess.
good suggestion. I think that people at Twitch should
I-
actually
yeah.
see that.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't clicked on that link in the chat, please do so. It's actually pretty cool for something from Crazy Eyes for sure.
Hey,
It's quite serious as well, Crazy.
Yeah.
Are you feeling okay?
I was expecting like a meme or something.
I never click his images.
No, I don't know why I did it. I totally put myself at risk for a virus or something. So
I thought he was gonna.
Oh, I'm
rickroll
nuking
us.
my computer after this, no matter what.
your background's gonna be all sushi now.
Yeah.
Like,
Anytime
what?
Crazy Eyes comes on the show, I nuke all of my PCs in my house.
Now you can change the color of the little record, like make it yellow. Who knows? So it's a little different. I did have to Photoshop a little bit of that image. The part where it said I had 2 viewers is totally false. I would never have that many. So I just needed to clarify that is the fake part of the image. In case you guys, because I'm all about the honesty here. So
oh, the self roast.
did you?
I would never
Yeah.
have that many viewers.
So that was I wasn't taking any notes. My wife was here eating lunch next to me, and so she was badgering me the whole time and just trying to be like, "Oh, talk to me. I'm your wife." So,
Care about me. Ugh.
yeah. Also, changing the way that you talk to people in real life is much harder than you think. I'm still like swearing at babies and stuff. It's really hard.
Same
if you have,
TBH.
yeah, if you have
Babies
the
don't
discipline
remember, though.
to
It's
do
okay.
it. Yeah, right. Like what? Oh, you're gonna cry? What are you gonna? Idiot! And then it's like the baby doesn't know what you're saying.
Just
So-
say it in a really nice tone, and it's okay.
Yeah, so that
You-
was my
you're a big
suggestion.
dummy.
I could have just posted it in chat, and it would have been probably more effective, but I didn't. Did you have any questions for me?
Yeah, how do you
So
get your hair like that? Oh, all right.
You fell for it.
There
You
it is.
told
I,
me.
I totally fell for it. Even Vince didn't even push the scene back in time. He got all of us debated. Stuff.
We talked about something like that before, actually. How they could change that side, and I didn't even think about adding somebody like who's hosting who in there. That's great.
Mhm.
I think
So-
just throw away online friends. I've never cared about which Twitch friend was online. I don't even want those.
If they
Throw
like,
away that feature entirely. Put who I'm following, who I'm following that's hosting people, recommended channels. That entire left side of that screen got a million times better.
either don't half-ass it or get rid of it. One of the two.
Mhm.
Because the whole friend
Yeah.
section is I think Twitch becoming a social media platform wouldn't be the worst thing, but at the same time, it's Twitch, and
It's not a social media platform.
yeah, so like if you have it, that's fine. But I think friends, we used to follow for like the friends thing, like follow. I
Yep.
think for like friends thing. That's pretty much how it works.
We
Yeah,
have another
it's-
caller, by the way. If we can get the scene switched over from Young Vince. All right, we got Lumberjack Allen Streams coming in.
Hey.
Hey, Lumberjack,
How's it going?
what's up, man?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Also, I need you guys to pray for me. I have to stay with Crazy Eyes in 3 weeks, and I'm not prepared.
F's in chat. F's in chat, please.
We never
You guys
saw
can all
LJ
donate to
again.
Yeah, everybody, please go donate to Lumberjack Allen Stream's channel. He needs it horribly bad.
Way more than any of us.
Yeah. What you got for us, man?
So I actually got to do an interesting conversation with a streamer who, we were talking about how, like, it's frustrating to have like not that many viewers, or not viewers, but like not when you have viewers, no one's talking.
Mhm.
And he was saying like you just need to keep asking open questions, just keep asking questions and stuff, and just try to get them to answer the questions. And I thought that that's not how you want to do it, because if they're not talking already, they probably don't want to talk anyways.
Right.
And so I guess what's the question is, how, if you wanted them to talk, how do you get them to talk without being like, just asking a whole bunch of questions, I guess.
So first off, drop that friend because he doesn't know what he's talking about. he probably just doesn't. I think every streamer goes through this. I think every streamer thinks that you should just ask open-ended questions. Not like a question that requires just a yes or a no. Like I used to think the same thing. But we'll start off with MPI on this one. Let's see what he has to say.
So, I mean, asking open-ended questions isn't inherently bad. Like if somebody comes into the stream, that's a good way to welcome them. Or if you have like a set question of the day, maybe.
Mhm.
And that could be like one of the first things you ask someone when they come in the stream, because that can start more of a conversation rather than like, hey, how are you today? They're going to be like, fine, at work, watching stream. And you'll be like, cool, thanks. Whereas if you say, hey, welcome to the stream. Our question of the day is, what's your favorite kind of chicken wing and why? And they can tell you, and you can be like, I hate that kind. You're wrong. Or I love that kind. You're great. Hang out with us.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's okay. But whenever you're sitting there and you realize no one has said anything in chat in a while, that's not the time to say, so what's everybody doing this weekend? You guys, what are you guys doing tonight? How's the weather over there? That's you can kind of tell when somebody does that they're really fishing for you to come back in. Like they're really just like, say anything. I don't care what it is. And I kind of think honestly, when your chat's not like bumping one day, that's fine. That it happens. Just continue to do what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Keep talking. Keep playing the game that you're playing and talking about what you're doing in the game. Keep making jokes at yourself. Laugh at your own jokes. Whatever you want to do. And if it's starting to kind of bug you, maybe take a break. Mm-hmm. Take a 5-minute break. Put up your be right back screen. Say, hey guys, I got to run to the restroom or get some more water, or I just need to stretch my legs. Step away for a minute. And then that way, when you come back, everyone else has kind of gotten a break too, if that makes sense. Yep. Like a lot of people will play a stream in the background and they'll just hear you talking, and it kind of starts to become background noise for them. But then when you say, hey, I'm going to take a break, I'll be right back, and then you put on some music, or it's just silent for a few minutes, people are going to go, did the stream freeze? Oh, wait, there's music? Okay, he's taking a break. And then when you come back, you say, hey guys, I'm back. I had to pet the cats, whatever. And then they'll say, oh, hey man, welcome back. And that can kind of like restart everything.
Very smart. Sadomi?
So imagine your stream is like a coffee shop. Sometimes people come in to have a chat with the other patrons, have a chat with you. Sometimes they want to get a cup of coffee and sit in the corner and read their book. Okay, you still got people in there. And like I said, sometimes if you really want to engage conversation, you don't always have to ask a question. You just have to make them want to say something. For instance, how often do we feel enthralled to say something when no one's asked a question but something happens? For instance, if I said that Chick-fil-A, it has the worst sandwiches in the world because I think they're garbage.
Yep.
What, Billy? What do you think? What?
I like their sandwiches quite a lot.
I don't know why they taste horrible.
Yeah, but they're delicious. You
see right there.
Now he's got conversation.
Boom. Yeah. See, Boom.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be that controversial or like that like
right.
abrasive, but just think of. Also think about it. Why do you want people talking? I'm always gonna keep saying this. Keep asking why. Why do you want chatters? Is it to make your stream easier to go by because you like interacting with people? Is it because you just kind of think that's how a successful stream is judged by? Because sometimes you can just have a bunch of lurkers and that's just what happens. Like my streams, I'm just. And if I have like 27 people in chat and no one's talking, that means, damn, I'm saying some important stuff.
Dog gaming.
Yeah, I think MPI and Sadomi hit it on the head. At essence, give them a reason to want to talk. You know, like MPI, like Sadomi said, saying something slightly controversial, you know, that's going to get people saying on, you know, like, but also playing up stuff that's happening in game. You know, that's if you're struggling for chat, play up what's going on in game. You know, really make a big deal when you die. Not in a bad way. Do you know what I mean? Just, you know, make a big deal of it. Make a big show of it. You know, give them a reason to want to interact again. Because once they're back down at the keyboard again, you know, that's when they're going to likely start interacting again. All it takes is that one communication back from them, and they're likely back down, going along with it. But again, at the heart of it, ask why are you wanting people to chat? Is it for you? Is it for the community? What is it for? You know, because when you answer those questions, it makes it easier to understand how to get to where you want to be. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like when I don't have people talking in the chat, it makes me feel like I'm not entertaining them enough. Which might not always be the case. So obviously, people like to lurk. Obviously, people are at work while I'm streaming, and you know, there's plenty of different reasons. But if I ever feel like I'm not being entertaining enough, like especially with a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, that's the perfect time to do something that's a little bit different than what you're currently doing in the game. Like if nobody's chatting and I realize that and it's been like a few minutes, that's the perfect time to lasso somebody and just drag them on your horse for a little bit and pretend that nothing's going on. And they'll hear the faint screaming from the person that you're dragging behind you. And they're gonna be like, what is that? And they're gonna start laughing because like you're just acting like you're just playing the game normally, but you're not. And so like that's the time to do something that's a little bit different. You know, maybe you take a little bit more of a risk in that game. Or if you're playing like something like Siege, you can be like, hey guys, you want to watch me pop off real quick, even if you know you're about to get shit on, you know, like that. Like there's always time to make some sort of moment in a stream, and it's all just based on how you want to present it, you know. So I feel like that kind of stuff will regain attention of people that might not be paying attention at that time, and it'll really help chat just start talking about like what's going on in your stream, or maybe they'll throw out an LOL or something. And then that alone can just start something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just ask questions just to pull chat, because you lose that appearance of streamer confidence, which I feel like is really important. Because if the viewer doesn't know who you are and they see that you lack confidence in what you're doing, they're probably going to go watch somebody else who seems like they're putting on a show and they know what they're doing. So that's my advice on that. I hope we were able to help you out, Lumberjack. Do you have any other questions or anything about that?
No, that answered my question. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, yeah, dude. Glad we could help you out, man. I hope you have a great day.
Bye, LJ. Good luck with Crazy Eyes. We believe in you.
So we got one more question, I think. Okay, so this is from Wood Nation TV. They're saying, why is there a lack of podcasts talking about Discord in regards to establishing a community and Discord popular actions and tasks to support it? So I'm assuming this is like they're wondering why there isn't a podcast that's directly about how you can use Discord. And so I guess because there's only like a certain amount of things that you can do that are like textbook things for Discord, and the rest of it is just how you implement it. And it's just like streaming. There's only so many things that you can do right or wrong, and that's like the definitive answer. You know, like we do get a lot of questions about Discord use quite a bit. And so if any of you guys have like a we got to get kind of wrapping up soon. So if any of you have like your main tip for Discord, I would throw that out.
Main tip for Discord is just constantly push it to your community. That's about all you can do. The reason that you don't see a lot of people talking about Discord is it's saturated. Discord is completely saturated. Everybody's got at least one Discord. Some people have got multiple ones as well, and trying to keep up with it is different from Twitch. You know, dropping into a stream, dropping into a couple of streams is different from having to go in and keep relationships going in a different way on Discord. Interactions that can be across several hours, a conversation that you make a comment and they don't make one for 2-3 hours later. That's the problem. Discord is too transient a thing to really be able to use it as a steady way for growing your stream. It's like we've said before, it's a hub for your community. It's somewhere where all your community can meet and be offline and and interact offline and build connections amongst each other whilst you're not actually streaming. But using it as a way to grow your stream, it's really not going to happen. It's it's something to go along with your stream.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, Sadomi, what do you got for like your main tip for Discord?
Don't take tips from me from Discord.
There you go. All right. MPI.
I mean, I agree with Dog. Like, Discord's not used for growth. It's another place for your community to be.
Yep.
When you're not live, or an easy way for you to update them on what's going on in your life. So if you've been sick and you're not going to stream because you're sick, that's a good place and an easy place to tell people, along with your Twitter. But the nice part about your Discord server is it is for your stream and like your stream only. And the people who have made that connection with you and have made that connection together because of you can all hang out together. And it's kind of like chat rooms used to be, but not weird and skeevy.
Well, it depends.
It's not like there's not a way to search for like a Discord. Like you can't go to discord.com and look for like MPI's Discord. That doesn't exist. It's not like Twitter where you can go find that person. They have to invite you to it. So that's what kind of makes it not good for growth, but good for, I guess, community management and engagement, if that makes sense. Because like, think about if you take a vacation, you can post photos in your Discord that are only for those people. Say like, hey man, I'm going to share photos at every rest stop on the road trip across the entire country, only in Discord. So if you want to hang out with me there and chat with me while I'm on the road and get those photos, that's how you're going to do that. And that's what Discord would be for. And like, as far as a podcast talking about it, there's just, there wouldn't be a podcast. You could do an episode of a podcast like this. We could maybe do an episode, or you could do a lot of YouTube videos on it. Like maybe a YouTube series of here's this week's Discord tip, Discord tip of the week. Here's a 2-minute video on it. But like a long form 2-hour podcast, man, like, I don't even know what we would talk about for that long, especially like weekly or bi-weekly.
Yeah, anything like that. There's just not enough to really give tips on that would work for anybody. It would be a lot of like, this is what I did on Discord today. You know what I mean? Which wouldn't be useful enough for everybody or most people.
Yeah, it would just evolve into use this bot, that's a bot, and that's literally, because what else can you do?
Yep.
Yeah.
There's nothing else.
Yeah, and I think MPI they both like made really, really good points. They're both really good tips for Discord. I think MPI's tip is a little bit more of what I was going to say, which is, just use it as like an off-stream way to talk to your community. I mean, it's kind of like Twitter where but instead of, just making a post to entertain your community on Twitter, you're actually able to have a conversation with them. And I feel like that's still very usable. And I think that's how you should be using Discord as a way to have conversations with people while you're still off stream. So
that's the exact wording my bot uses in my chat. And when it like, I have an auto timed message that posts, do you want to chat with me off stream? Join my Discord, and then Discord link. Like that's the exact quote from it. And that's exactly what it should be for, is talking with people when you're not live anymore.
Yeah.
Yep. It's just a way to stay connected with your community, and that's pretty much it. So hopefully we were able to help your question out, Wood Nation. Hopefully if you had any questions about Discord, we answered those. And if you want to call in next week or ask us next week about more in-depth questions, we'd be more than happy to help you out. But I think that's all we're going to be able to do today. I have some stuff going on that I need to get ready for soon. So starting with TRUgaming, where can people find you? And what's your most recent game you've been playing?
Well, you can find me at dog_gaming on Twitch, TRUgaming on every other platform. And I've been doing variety streaming. Today I played Cryofall. It was a game I got in last month's Humble Bundle. It's like a top-down Rust. It's like a survival game. PvP. It was a lot of fun. But you can also find me, I'm going to take this opportunity, you can also find me Thursday nights on this channel at 6 p.m. GMT. That's 1 p.m. Eastern time. And I want to say 10 a.m. Pacific, doing the True Talk podcast. I am here on Thursdays with Spartan, so make sure you check that out as well.
There you go. MPI, where can people find you and what have you been playing lately?
So I have not streamed in a couple of weeks. For various reasons, but we are working on getting back into a schedule. You can find me at twitch.tv/Mr. Pure Instinct, or Twitter is the same name. I play a variety of games. We've been playing Skyrim, and I think that's probably where we'll pick up, is continue on Skyrim for my first playthrough.
God, that's crazy.
I know, right? People are still like blown away by it all the time.
Like one of those popular games of our generation. You're on your first playthrough right now.
Yeah, just casually like, whatever, dude. It's like 10 years later. I'll finally pick it up, I guess.
Pretty much. Awesome. Sadomi, where can people find you and what have you been playing lately?
I'm waiting exactly 18 days for Animal Crossing.
Ooh.
And then you will not see me, or you will see me, I'm not sure which, for at least 10 days. And then Persona 5 Royal comes out, and I'm growing butterfly wings, and I'm escaping, and I'm just going into a hole of gaming. But you can find me at twitch.tv/Sadomi and on youtube.com/Sadomi. I just shot a podcast episode, The Sadomi Show, with Miss MPI over here, and it was very fun. Get to see that up pretty soon. And yeah, and you can catch me on Fridays at 2 p.m. EST, depending on time zones and if I get the times right.
There you go. And I am Belloc_TV on everything: Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all the stuffs. And I've been playing a lot of Red Dead 2 lately, but I'm probably going to be getting back into Tarkov here pretty soon. But that's where you can find me. That's what I'm playing. Thanks again, everybody, for calling in. Everybody who asked us questions. Thanks for watching, listening to this podcast. We really like helping you guys out, and we really hope that we can continue to do so. So we'll see you next week, Monday, 11 a.m. EST. And Sadomi,
Blaze it.
there you go. Take it easy, guys.